My name is Brian Godwin. I am the CEO and Senior Visual Effects Supervisor at Shade Visual Effects. Shade brought you all of the visual effects for Marvel's Daredevil for Netflix. Here at Shade, we specialize in what we like to call supporting visual effects. Our goal as a company is to support the story being told by the filmmakers. Supporting visual effects doesn't mean simple. In fact, supporting visual effects are often very, very complicated. From completely CGI humans that we use as digital stunt doubles to entire crowd replications or the backdrop to a city that we weren't even in. If done well, you'll never know that it happened. For Daredevil, we produced over 1,000 supporting visual effects shots throughout the entire series. And these ranged from complete digital doubles where stunts weren't safe to have Daredevil, say, jumping off a rooftop, to blood hits and wounds. In particular, there was a lot of support to the idea of the sort of violence and gore that happens in Daredevil, which was a big departure for Marvel, was to try and set this story in a more realistic and dark place, the real streets of New York. And when people say gritty, you know, I think that gritty is kind of a substitute for reality. And as visual effects artists, our goal is to make sure that your viewing experience is one that you're transported into the reality of this world. And I think that really struck a chord with viewers, is how real Daredevil felt every way.
So just to kind of walk you through the process, you know, we get our initial scripts for an episode. We immediately break them down. So we read through the entire script, we go through everything, and we look for all the potential visual effects that we can find in there. We put that down on paper in a breakdown and kind of put it in front of everybody. We're talking about how do we achieve these things. Our job is not to be the star of the shot. We are not the star of the shot. We are there to support. And we will put some of these things out that we're hoping to achieve practically. And sometimes they can do it and sometimes they can't. Or sometimes it's, you know, all hands on deck and us doing parts of it and then the practical guys doing the other portions of it to get a final shot.
One of the most exciting scenes we worked on was the Red Ninja fight. We had the added element of a very complex weapon, the Kyotsu Shoge, which is a chained weapon with a blade on the end that the Red Ninja reveals, and he swings around and really just destroys Daredevil with. We did actually go and shoot someone with one of those weapons for reference. So we worked with the stunt team to see what that looks like. All the things we couldn't do on the day with actors, we sort of explored what that would look like from a real perspective. From there, we were able to have some time in the research and development stage to be able to actually build a model that worked with real-world physics. We were able to basically program the rig to know how heavy was that blade, how does the chain move, how much does it swing. And the result really works. I think that most people watch that and they have no idea that that weapon wasn't real. They just imagine they're cutting away from a guy swinging a big, heavy weapon. In fact, over 85% of the shots are all CG. There was very few moments where we kept any of the practical stuff in there. And I think that collaboration and preparation really allowed that scene to be one of the most violent, one of the most emotional, knockdown, drag-out fights in the entire season. And it's probably one of the best examples of supporting invisible visual effects. The crescendo to the scene is that despite being, beaten and torn and stabbed and dragged, Daredevil finally makes his escape. We looked at lots of different ways of accomplishing this, including perhaps having a stunt actor jumping out the window, maybe using different cutaways, but we really wanted this to feel incredible. And that required visual effects to go in and actually make a digital double of Daredevil. And to accomplish that, we use 3D scanning. So we actually had Charlie Cox in his whole wardrobe and fully 3D scanned him so that we could then take that information, digitize it, and with traditional animation techniques, have our animators have him jump out the window into the river. A lot of what you see in that scene isn't real. You know, we did get a great exterior shot, but of course the things you'd never think about are that there's giant movie lights everywhere. The window doesn't actually break. We have to add glass, and of course we have to add a CGI Daredevil jumping out. What's special about Shade is that as artists, we bring our skill to the table, and we don't really rely on software as much as we do people. We look at ourselves as, you know, not much different than the people who build sets and put makeup on people and design wardrobes. We're just another part of the crew, and we're really proud as visual effects artists to be part of that big team, that village of people that makes filmmaking possible.